Greetings and salutations, this is Huge Ass! My video on Flat Earth Banjo got me thinking more about flights, and I realised that I can do a Flat Earth Killer number 5 on flights in the Southern Hemisphere. I'm going to have a look at 2 flights, both starting from Sydney to Johannesburg and Sydney to Santiago in Chile. And the way we show this as a Flat Earth Killer is by showing the distance on both models and see which one is more likely to match reality. Let's start with Sydney to Johannesburg. This used to be Qantas flight QF63. It's not flying at the moment because of the pandemic, means that there's less demand, so you have to go through Doha instead, where there's more likely to get extra people going to Doha on the flight, thus making it economically viable. But fortunately, Greater Sapien took this flight in 2019, and Where's Wally did a thorough analysis on it. You can click the link in the top right hand corner to look at that video. So according to Google Maps, the distance between Sydney Airport and Oliver Tambo Airport in Johannesburg is 11,000 kilometres roughly. As you can see, that's going the Great Circle route, which on a Mercator projection looks like this. But if we have a look at Google Earth, it looks like this. A straight line, making it the shortest distance. So let's compare it to the Flat Earth map. Drawing a line between Johannesburg and Sydney, we get this. We know the distance from the pole to the equator is about roughly 10,000 kilometres. So we can calculate from the North Pole to Sydney it's a little over 13,000 kilometres. Joburg's a little further north, so it's only 12,500 kilometres to the North Pole from Joburg. We now have 2 sides of the triangle, and we can get the angle by the difference in longitude between Sydney and Johannesburg, which is 151 for Sydney less 28 for Johannesburg, giving us 123. 2 sides at an angle means we can calculate the third side on the flat Earth, which gives us a distance between Joburg and Sydney on the flat Earth of 22,411 kilometres. Roughly twice what it was on the globe Earth. Obviously there's no plane that can fly that distance without refuelling. Certainly not non-stop, and yet planes do fly that distance non-stop, as Greater Sapien proved. Not only that, but this path flies over China, India, the Middle East, and most of Africa. Lots of places where people might want to get to, and so you should have a stopover for this sort of flight. But they don't do that. No airline's going to do that.
Oh, Hugh, just one further point, if I may. The flight from Sydney to Johannesburg on a globe goes largely over water, and on a flat Earth goes mostly over land. Now that should be very easy to check. And Greater Sapien, he had a video recorder running for the whole 14-hour flight. So doing a gleam and checking globe Earth versus flat Earth is super easy, barely an inconvenience. And thanks mate for letting me stick my 2 cents worth into your video.
So in this case, the globe Earth wins. Let's have a look at Sydney to Santiago. On the globe Earth model, it flies the Great Circle route south of New Zealand, and the total distance is about 11,300 kilometres. Let's see what that looks like on Google Earth. Starting in Santiago this time, we go back to Sydney, and once again you can see it's a straight line on a globe. So therefore it's the shortest distance, which makes it the most economical route for the airline to fly. What would it be on the flat Earth? As we said before, the distance to the North Pole from Sydney is 13,000 kilometres, based on the difference between the poles and the equator being about 10,000 kilometres, which has actually been measured. And remembering along lines of longitude, the AE map matches the globe model. So these measurements can't be disputed. The distance between Santiago and the North Pole is roughly the same as Sydney, as they're on very similar latitudes. So we'll call it 13,000 kilometres too. Now this time, to calculate the angle at the North Pole, it goes across the international date line. Santiago's at 71 degrees west longitude and Sydney's at 151 east. But doing the calculation, that gives us an angle of 138 degrees. Plugging that into the triangle calculator, we get a distance across the flat Earth between Sydney and Santiago of 24,273 kilometres. Again, more than twice what it actually is. And again, people have flown this They've verified that the flight only takes as long as it would to match the globe model. If it matched the flat Earth model, the plane would run out of fuel long before it got to Santiago or Sydney, whichever way it was going. And again, this path takes you straight over the rich markets of the United States and without stopping and without any passenger ever noticing that they're doing that. It's crazy economically. 2-0 to the globe. Flat Earth is killed once again. The corgi's warming up, so if you like this video, click the like button. It really helps me out, as does leaving a comment. And if you'd like to see more of what I do, click the subscribe button and the bell notification so that you get notified of future videos that I put out. And if you really like what I do, please show your appreciation by buying me a cup of coffee through the ko-fi.com website. It's a one-off donation, which I very much appreciate. Many thanks to everyone who's done so far. Some of you have been very generous, and I'm humbled by your generous donation. There's a link in the description of this video for that, and there's also a link to my Discord server if you'd like to join there and have more interactions with me directly. So there's nothing left to do but cue the corgi.
You're despicable.